Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we have a little bit of a trip in
Antrim Castle Gardens we've come to.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a walk around, see what's here. I think they have some nice kind of gardens, flowers, stuff like that. So it's just something different for today. So let's see what we find. So we just arrived now. We're gonna go through this little archway here and see what's there. I see some really nice flowers, roses. It's really nice here. There's no entry fee either, so that's really good. How pretty are these? Oh my goodness. You know what these are? These are clematis.
Is that what it is?
I think it's a type of clematis, yeah.
Same
I think
as what we have in our garden?
Similar to mine, but instead of our ones that are more kind of...
Yeah, I think it is, because you can see it's like veiny.
Exactly, and that's exactly the way that the buds look at home as well. They start off like this. And I was saying to James that that's ideally how they should grow in the garden. They should grow around that trellis that I have. I always say to James that there's like a true rose, you know, that looks like a true rose. And it's this. It's basically when it's just this type of a shape rather than when it opens up and it has a little center. So these are real roses. You can actually smell the scent, you know, the scent is so strong. I must find out what these roses are called. I'd love some in my garden. I reckon they're probably expensive though, but they're so pretty. Even look at this one, they're massive as well, huge. James is over at the lavender. He's the photographer today, trying to get the bee. Look at all this lavender. So pretty. These have such a strong scent. Super scented. They smell like, I don't know, like a shower gel or something like that. Oh, so pretty. I wish I could just snip them and take them home. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, it's nice. We haven't obviously explored much yet, just a small courtyard, so it's hard to say, but it's well kept.
Yeah, really well kept. And they have roses like in every colour. Here beside us they have pink, further down they have red, they have white, and then they have kind of like a, I don't know, almost like reddy orange type.
Even the building's really lovely, really old.
Yeah.
This is obviously like the castle grounds and whatever, so seems to be a cafe in here too.
Yeah, so let's see what kind of sweeties they have here. There's also all this greenery and shrubs and things like that. If you like this kind of a garden, I think most people are really drawn towards the floral things, but I think for winter time this is also very good because it makes your garden not look too bare, you know, in winter time. So it's good to be conscious of seasons when you're doing a nice garden. Some scarecrows here. There's even a baby one. Look at this, guys, blueberries, but theirs look so much more full.
It's just a bigger, much bigger plant. That's right.
Yeah, maybe it's just more established, do you think?
Yeah, it's just older. It's probably been there maybe 3 years. Ours is probably just young, and ours is in a pot. That's in the ground, so it's probably going to get bigger when it's in the ground than it would in a pot.
Oh, look, guys, there's like a visitor and information gift shop. That's really cool. Let's see what they have inside. Look, paw print in your hearts. It's a moo-moo. Alright, big lad. Is this a Northern Irish saying?
Okay guys, so we've come here today because some of you said that you'd like to see a bit more of what Northern Ireland's like, and this is a good example of what some of the country estates and different places around the island of Ireland are like. Specifically Northern Ireland, obviously that's where we're based. This is Antrim Castle. Now I've never been here before. I've been through the town of Antrim, but I've never been to the castle, and it's actually quite nice. The castle grounds in the castle area itself. Look, a little squirrel actually. Yeah, let's see if we can see him. A little grey squirrel just standing there, look. Of course, as far as I'm aware, the grey squirrels aren't native to Ireland. It's the red squirrels, but they're still, as Ramona says, cute nonetheless. Yeah, so as we were saying before, the squirrel rudely interrupted us. We wanted to show you a bit of what it's like. I know this isn't necessarily the wild side of Ireland or Northern Ireland, it's just an estate, but still lovely, and it's a really nice day, so we thought we'd take you for a little walk and show you what it's like around here.
This is apparently the Platinum Jubilee Garden. I don't know what to expect. Let's see. Platinum Jubilee Clockworks Garden, designed by Dermot Gavin. This garden was officially opened by the Lord Lieutenant of County Antrim by David McCorkle.
Celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee.
Say that
It
again?
was to celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee.
Ah.
Look, it's revolving.
If you want a view paradise,
Even the trees.
simply look around and you will. Anything you want.
Look at the trees, they're spinning.
Revolving flower bed. It's definitely a strange concept anyway.
Yeah, very interesting
It's
garden.
definitely different. I wonder, should we get, comment down below guys, do you think should we get some spinning trees for our front garden?
Guys, look at this. I mean, isn't this the greenhouses of all greenhouses? This is like, if greenhouses are a thing of beauty, that's what they look like. Oh, that's amazing.
The little tomatoes.
They're growing little tomatoes inside there. If you had like a really big garden or big property and land around, this would be the one.
Oh, hello. Fancy seeing you here.
Do you come here often?
No, only on days ending with Y.
But today's Saturday.
Yeah, it ends with a Y.
Oh yeah, it does.
They all
yeah.
end in Y.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, because
Silly
it's
me.
day.
There's a mural, is that what you call it? Right
Well,
across
that's like
from us.
a mosaic. It's
Bold
like-
and bankrupt vibes here.
Yeah, it's not Soviet though, so
It's not a Soviet
doesn't
one.
count.
It's
But, yeah.
a Northern Irish mosaic.
As I say, it's quite a small walled garden, as you would maybe term it, but it's nice. It's really, really well kept. There's lots of variety of stuff.
I would say it probably takes a lot of people to look after this
Oh,
to keep
yeah.
it to this standard.
But it's really nice day here, as you'll see. Ramona will show you. It's almost clear skies, but it's super hot. It's about, well, for us it's around 22, 23 degrees Celsius. So
Super hot in Northern Ireland is like, yeah, about 25. But I think yesterday in some places in Northern Ireland it hit 29 degrees. So
yeah,
that's-
almost 30, 29.5 in some places, which is
Yeah.
very hot for us. We have to remember in Northern Ireland, it's not common for us to have air conditioning and things like that in our house. So when it gets hot, it gets hot.
Yeah. I got just a caramel square.
You get a drink?
No,
Why not?
just didn't want to drink. We've perched ourselves up kind of underneath this big tree. And just by the river here. Here's the bridge from this side, or the other side rather, I should say.
Oh, there's a little trout jump over there. A little baby trout jumping up for flies, brown trout.
I'm just sitting here having a little rest, taking it all in. And James, of course, he's still always fascinated by the fish. So James, come on, give us the tour guide.
Well, I don't really know much about it, but it looks like this is the old ruins of maybe part of the original castle. Ireland and the UK is full of old castles, which is probably interesting to American viewers.
Still standing today. They don't build them like they used to. Look guys, that's where the dungeon would have been.
That's where Ramona's going. She's bad in the dungeon.
That's where they put the naughty boys and girls in that dungeon there. These funky little stairs. About this bird hotel.
It's actually supposed to be for fairies, apparently. Look.
Woohoo! Can see out towards the bridge. Well, here's another part of the castle. What is it?
Like an old lookout tower or turret or whatever you want to call it.
They've done this little pathway here too, which is really cool. And over to the left here, you can climb up there. I think it's like a viewpoint. I think we're going up. We made the decision to go up this big thing. Here we are at the top.
So guys, that's us back home now after a nice little day trip out to Antrim Castle. I'm gonna have to do something that I didn't want to have to do, and that is take up some of my potatoes early. You might have saw me taking some potatoes out the other day, and unfortunately with the high humidity and perfect conditions for blight, some of my potatoes got the dreaded potato blight. So I think the blight has spread. So before it ruins the potato, I'm going to just sort of dig them out or heel the buckets out and take whatever potatoes I can salvage and just sort of make the best of a bad situation. But we'll give you a bit of an update too on how the rest of our veg is looking. So guys, I've just pulled out another couple of potatoes to see what it was like, and these are the Aryan Victory variety, and this is not the colour I was expecting. Have a look at this. Purple? What's that all about? Okay guys, so we just ended up having to harvest the last 3 buckets of potatoes, as I said I was going to do at the start, and they probably would have grown a lot bigger if they were in the full term, which would have been at least another 6 weeks. Overall, we're happy with what we've got. It should do us for maybe a couple of weeks. We have the red rooster here that we planted just from old shop bought potatoes that we had left over. One potato will yield so many more potatoes once planted, and then these are the Aryan Victory potato. And as you can see, they're a lovely purple colour, and I was just looking up that they're actually sort of like an antioxidant. It's the same pigment or same thing that's in blueberries and black grapes, red grapes, whatever you want to say, purple coloured grapes. So here's our cucumber plants. One isn't doing well. It was one that got damaged at the start, but we still have had a few cucumbers off it. We've had 2 or 3 so far, and then this one here is actually doing pretty well. It's collapsed on the pole. It won't stay up anymore, so I just keep letting it fall. There's some cucumbers growing in here. This was supposed to be an onion seed, but I'm pretty certain it's actually a cabbage. Got new seeds, and I think the new seeds I got are all mixed up in different packets. We have some beetroot. Leaves aren't looking too healthy, but I'm hoping it'll still make it to the point of harvest. Spring onion growing here. As you can see, the potatoes have just completely taken over at this big bed. You know, I didn't realize they would spread so much, so next year I'm definitely not going to plant the potatoes in this next year, because they just take over the whole bed. My carrots and parsnips I planted are down here underneath all of this foliage, so I'm not holding out too much hope for how well they're going to do, but let's see how we get on. We might get some out of it at least. Over here, where I took all the potatoes out the other day, I just replanted, and I've got some radish coming up already. Then I've got 2 iceberg lettuce planted here, and then this is all parsnip. The tomatoes as well have really taken off and starting to flower now as well. And then we've also got bell pepper plant. That's another first time thing for us to grow. We've never grown it, and it's interesting to see the difference between the one that's outside the greenhouse and the one that's inside the greenhouse. So the one that's inside the greenhouse is twice as big as this one. And then finally the strawberries over here. There's a ripe-ish one in there. We've had quite a lot off this. One of the blueberry bushes was dead, as we might have said before, but this one has produced lots of blueberries. We're just waiting for them to ripen now. Everything's going reasonably well so far, apart from the blight issue we've had and a few other small things, but that's life when you're trying to grow things organically. These things happen. So
since this is a slow living vlog, we wanted to share with you guys what a typical weekend looks like for us. And generally on a Saturday or a Sunday, we like to take care of things around the home, and we kind of have a routine where James will take care of the things outside of the home and I take care of things inside of the home, things like cooking, cleaning, laundry. And here we came back from our trip from Antrim Castle, and we decided to have something to eat, and I prepared something separate for James and separate for me, the reason being that I'm gluten free and most of the time dairy free as well. So for James I just did a stir fry. These are some of the vegetables that I put in. I decided to do a chicken stir fry for James just because he prefers it. What I also really enjoy about this meal is that it's really easy to put together. It's just a matter of frying the vegetables, frying the chicken, and then putting in the sauce, which this time I decided to buy just a store-bought sauce. For my meal, I decided to do kind of like a chicken Caesar salad. So here I'm just chopping up the vegetables for a lovely fresh salad, and I'm frying up some chicken, some spring onion in there as well because it gives it that extra kick. And I normally like to use a dressing of lemon and olive oil. I always associate salads with summer because I think they're much lighter meals to have during times where it's much warmer outside, and they're also packed with nutrients. Since I had a craving for crepes, I decided to make some, and these ones are gluten-free and dairy-free, apart from obviously James's chocolate spread is not dairy-free. But sometimes I do make meals where both me and James can eat it, which is of course always easier than having to make two separate meals.
Recently, we purchased this DeLonghi coffee machine, and I've been trying to master the art of making a good coffee. However, my latte art skills still need some improvement. It's not old enough yet.
James tried to do a love heart.
Obviously not this bit, but I had
So this is the second day of our slow living, and here I'm just taking care of our laundry. And last but not least, I'm also baking an almond cake, which I've seen lots of shorts of on YouTube, and it's pretty simple. It actually doesn't have a lot of ingredients in it. Most of it is just egg and sugar and some almond flour, and this one is of course gluten-free and dairy-free. So this means it's something that both me and James can enjoy together. The secret to this recipe having the right kind of consistency when it bakes is in the eggs. So the egg white and the egg yolk are mixed with sugar separately, and that creates a lot of air in the egg, which means that then when you mix it in with the almond flour, it gets a nice sort of a fluffy rise. And another secret, which was not part of the recipe, is adding almond essence and vanilla essence just to give it that extra bit of interest and kick. This was my first time baking this cake, and I think it turned out quite nice, but the only change that I would make is that I would bake it for 25 minutes instead of 30 minutes. So this is it for a slow living weekend. Thank you so much as always for being here, guys, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.